Hello, I'm Mark Fenton Jones. Sales, mention that word and a lot of people imagine that as a potential customer being asked to buy a product or service that they don't necessarily need or, heaven forbid, even want. Now this approach sets up an adversarial relationship which can make the sales process even harder than it needs to be. I'm here with Ian Lowe, Chief Executive of Go Givers Australia, to talk about a really new way of thinking that challenges that old-fashioned idea of what sales is all about. Ian, welcome.
Happy to be here, Mark.
Ian, I've heard a bit about this, so can you explain to me what is the Go Giver philosophy?
The Go Giver philosophy essentially is built on this understanding of a shift in focus. The idea is to shift your focus from getting to giving. And by giving, we mean constantly and consistently giving value to the customer. And we say that's not only a nicer way to live life and conduct business, it's also a very financially profitable way as well. And that's the premise of the Go Giver story, where our main character, Joe, who we describe as being an aggressive, motivated, up-and-coming, but very frustrated young businessman, learns some valuable life lessons that will transform his business and accelerate his personal success.
Well, Ian, how do people respond when they hear about this shift in focus from, on one hand, to getting, to on the other hand, to giving? Don't they think, well, this is a bit naive, it's a bit unrealistic?
And you can understand it, right? I mean, the newspapers are filled with headlines where people have been manipulated or abused in some way. So you can understand in today's Wolf of Wall Street world, where we read about corporate scandals and self-absorption, and we're dealing with dog-eat-dog competition every day, that it can be kind of hard to accept that you can give your way to success. And that was essentially the first question that Joe has for his mentor, a very wise and successful man by the name of Pindar.
And he's one of the characters in the book which explains the philosophy.
Absolutely, yeah. He's really the main mentor who takes Joe under his wing and introduces him to a series of other mentors that help Joe to learn how shifting his focus from getting to giving can actually be his path to success.
Do people sometimes think that your philosophy is all about being nice? I mean, if you're a nice person, you will win.
That comes up, and it's understandable. The idea that nice people, nice guys, nice girls, nice people finish first is it would be great, but it takes more than being nice to be successful. So we're not saying that nice people finish first. That's not the moral of the story. And don't get me wrong, being nice is certainly great. I think it just personally, it's better to have a relationship with people who are nice than people who are nasty. And I think the same goes for business as well. But it takes more than just being nice to be successful. And I think I can say that with some degree of confidence, because I'm sure you, Mark, and I know I certainly do. We know people who we would describe as being simply nice people, who we'd also have to describe as being simply broke people. Success also requires a person to do the correct things along the success process to realize success. And I think the genius in Bob Burg and John David Mann, who wrote the Go Giver story, is that they've essentially created a formula or codified the elements of that success.
They codified that in a framework called the 5 Laws of Stratospheric Success.
That's right, yeah, the 5 Laws of Stratospheric Success, yeah.
Before we look at the 5 laws, I have a question about the book, The Go Giver. Now, I was brought up to believe that go-getters win in our economy or business environment. Now, are you saying that a go-getter is a bad thing?
Again, a great question. It often comes up. I think I grew up with that thinking as well, that you want to get out there and be a go-getter. The great news is that we're not saying that being a go-getter is a bad thing at all. Being a go-getter is a great thing. We love go-getters. All the best ideas, the best intentions, the best thinking in the world is all for nothing unless you actually take action. And go-getters get things done. The great thing is that there's no natural separation between a go-getter and a go-giver. Every go-giver is also a go-getter, and many go-getters are go-givers. Right. The opposite of a go-giver is actually a go-taker. A go-taker is that person who feels almost entitled to take all the time, to take. It's all about them and what their needs are. And they're not really interested in adding any value to the other person, to the situation, to the process. And they also tend to be very frustrated people. I think I'm not saying they're bad people in any way, but they have a slightly different type of motivation that's not necessarily that productive. They also tend to be very frustrated people as well, because they never seem to achieve the kind of success they think they're entitled to. And even when they do, because it happens from time to time, even when they do achieve some degree of success, it tends to be fairly short-lived, because they haven't built the foundations necessary to allow that success to continue and to flourish. A go-giver is precisely that. It's somebody who has learned through coaching or through learning, or intuitively knew that it's only when you can take your eyes off yourself and focus on creating value for others that you ultimately can accomplish the most.